Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Left-Handed Stationery. If you end up liking this video, please like and consider subscribing. I also have an Instagram, Left-Handed Stationery, and a TikTok that I've just created at Left-Handed Stationery. Please join me on this channel as I work through the struggles of learning brush lettering as a left-handed person. Along the way, I'll also be doing unboxings, testing out different pens and markers, maybe doing a reveal of my own personal pen case. But for today, I'm going to be going over orientation of paper, how to hold your pen or other writing utensils, the amount of pressure that you would apply when using your pen, and also pushing versus pulling, or left-handed versus right-handed. To start with, I'm going to go over orientation. In front of me, I have a pad of paper. In general, this line right here is 90 degrees from my body, so it is perpendicular to my body. When writing on paper while doing brush lettering, you are normally encouraged to have the paper 90 degrees from your body or perpendicular. This is difficult for me because when I write as a left-handed person, I rotate my paper about 45 degrees away from my body. This is natural so that it allows me to have a bit more control and write straight on the paper, and also allow my hand to rest underneath the lettering. So for example, the quick brown fox jumps. Okay, so if I rotate this, you'll notice that it's a little bit easier to read on the paper. It's not really slanted. Now say I try to write left-handed with the paper perpendicular to me. It's a little bit messier. It's also unnatural. I can show you how I'm holding my hand when I'm trying to write. It's not ergonomic. So that is why I like to have the paper 45 degrees away from me. It feels a little bit more natural. Well, with brush lettering, unfortunately, or fortunately, you kind of want to get used to that because it's how you hold the pen. So we're going to go from orientation of paper, it's going to be perpendicular, into holding your actual pen. And the reason for that, you'll notice when I was holding the pen, this pen, a regular ballpoint pen, that my fingertips were very close to the tip. With a brush lettering pen, you want to hold the pen about 1 inch to 3/4 inch away from the tips of your finger. It allows for a bit more fluidity and control. If you rotate while trying to do that, if you have the paper rotated while trying to do that, you won't get as good of brush lettering, that lovely brush lettering. It's a little bit tighter, harder to get those lovely swoops. This actually is hurting my hand right now trying to do this. Versus if I have it 90 degrees, I just gently glide the pen across the paper. And the swoops are a bit easier, specifically because of how far away the pen tip is from the fingertips. So, again, when you're holding your pen, you want it to be about 1 inch, 3/4 inch away from the tips of your fingers. When holding your pen, not only do you want it to be 1 inch to 3/4 inches away from your 3/4 of an inch away from the tip of your fingers. You also want the pen so that it is about 45 degrees up above the paper. If you try it being too flat against the paper, it's a bit difficult trying to naturally hold your hand like this. It's shaky, it's not as controlled. And if you hold it like this, straight up and down, you're not going to get those lovely varying thicknesses of lines. It also, again, feels less controlled. If you hold it about 45 degrees, this will allow you to have those lovely varying thicknesses in lines, a little bit more control, etc. Now the next thing that I'm going to go over is pressure. Pressure is used to, once again, vary the thickness in the lines. So when I'm doing pressure, I want, if I'm going upwards, I want to have decreased pressure, so it's light. And when I'm drawing downwards, I want increased pressure, so I have a thicker line. So this is actually incorrect. So let's draw that loop. So when I'm going upwards, decrease pressure, and then when I'm going downwards, increase pressure. Now, depending on the type of tool you have, and I have several, the pressure that is applied will give you a thicker or a thinner line. This tombow is a great starting pen because the tip is not as soft, so it's a little bit easier to apply pressure, not have too much get away from you, and still have those nice thick lines, but also those thin lines. With really advanced pens, the tips can be very, very soft, and when you're first starting out, you might get shaky lines as you're drawing. It's a little bit more difficult to draw the thin lines versus the thick lines. I can demonstrate that as a beginner. So I would say this tombow is probably a bit more of an advanced pen. It's a very soft tip compared to the other tombow that I am using. So this tombow is a double tip ABT water-based pen in the color 837. So you'll probably see, because it's so soft, I am going to struggle a bit because I'm a beginner with the softness. As you can see, it's not as controlled of a line. There's varying thicknesses. And then bringing it down, thicker. So with a more advanced pen, you have less control. So I recommend, when you're first starting, to start out with one of the tombow pens like this one, the Tombow Fudonosuke WS-TBS 250, which is double-sided. So you have, and it's black and gray. So we're gonna go up, bring it down. It's a little bit easier to control the thickness on this pen, which is great for practice. Now, two other pens that I can demonstrate really quickly are this Tombow Fudonosuke WSBH 150 and this Tombow pen WSBS 150 Fudonosuke as well. These are also varying thicknesses. These are also great beginner pens to help you to get used to the softness of the pen itself and how to control your lettering. This one's a bit firmer. There. The next thing that I'm going to quickly review is push versus pull. So when you are right-handed, when you are writing, you're pulling your pen. It's a little bit easier to allow for consistency, smoothness, etc. When you're left-handed, you continuously have to adjust as you move along, lifting your hand. So that can be a bit disjointed. But with brush lettering, you can actually use this to your benefit. Say I am practicing some loops. I want to get all the way across the page. Well, there's only so far that my hand can reach before it starts to get shaky. As you can see, I am starting to lose control. So it's not as pretty. So the way that I address that is I lift my hands and I lift my pen at the same time, move it a bit, place it, and continue. So it's kind of a disjointed movement, but the final appearance looks continuous. So for example, I go up, less pressure, increase the pressure as I go down, go up, less pressure. Oh, now I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to lift my hand a little bit in, and I'm going to continue. Go up, increase pressure as I come down, go up, increase pressure as I go down, lift my hand, adjust, continue. You'll notice that it's less shaky than this is right here. Now, because I'm a beginner, I am learning as I go, so it's still going to be shaky, but that's the joy of learning. Now on to something a lot more fun. So you have your setup, you have your orientation of your paper, you have ways to hold your pen, you have how to hold your pen against the paper, and then also how you can adjust as a left-handed person. Let's do some practicing. So the practicing is just going to be the same no matter what hand you are. They recommend starting with lines to work on pressure, so really get used to that pressure, especially if you want to try different pens. So lines just straight up and down. Increase pressure as you're going down. Decrease pressure as you're going up. Increase pressure as you're going down. Decrease pressure as you're going up. Just keep practicing this until you feel pretty comfortable. When I first started, these lines were super shaky and not straight. They were pretty ugly. They would have made for really nice abstract art. Then I also tried practicing with thicker and softer pens. I'm still not too comfortable with that, but I'm learning. These used to be really bad, so this is not too bad. The other fun scribble to try out are adding in turns as you are writing. So you have lines, let's add a little bit of a curve on top of that. So we're going to start with going up and then down. So going up, we're going to have decreased pressure. Then as we come down, we're going to increase that pressure. And actually, as you can see, I'm going to adjust my hand because it's already starting to get uncomfortable. I'm going to adjust it to move it in. I'm going to go back up, decrease pressure, go back down. Doing a little worm. Adjust my hand. Nope, made a mistake. Oh well. It's all part of the learning process. So I make a little worm. This allows me to learn how to increase and decrease my pressures and have a continuous line. Especially with brush lettering, a lot of it's cursive, so you're going to have continuous lines. The other one that you can practice is just straight lines that are connected. So in this situation, I'm going to go down, decrease pressure, and I'm going to basically create a V. Go up, decrease pressure, down, increase pressure, down, increase pressure, going up, decrease pressure, going down, increase pressure, going up, decreased. Now, I'm impatient and I want to learn more than just lines and doodles and whatnot. So I want to do swoops. A really fun one is this one because this allows for continuous connection while also working on varying pressures. And it's basically this fun little S. So if you watch, it's like a little figure eight. We're going to go up, swoop over, increase pressure because I'm coming down, increase pressure, and I'm going to go back up. So I'm going to decrease pressure for a thinner line, and I'm just going to repeat. Going up, decrease pressure, going down, increase pressure, going back up, decrease pressure. Really pretty swoops. This is Great to practice once you have gotten used to doing these types of little doodles right here. Now, if you're done with all of the doodles and you just want to continue on to lettering, I would recommend that before you go straight into cursive, try some printing. This allows for a more controlled environment to continue testing and training your hand to get used to varying pressures, the positioning and orientation of the paper, as well as the position and orientation of your pen and hand. And this is because you're just writing each letter separately. So it allows for a little bit more control versus the continuous cursive. So I like practicing this because, for example, A, we're going to go down, thick line. We're going to go up, thin line, across. B, down, up, across. Lifting my hand, moving it up closer, placing. C, this one's fun because this is similar to the cursive. We're going to go up, decrease pressure, down, increase pressure, and then back up. So like I said, each of these are individual, so it allows me to practice the different varying pressures separately. Ooh, and G's another one. Then the other one you can do is just actually writing out sentences. So, the quick fox. So as you can see, I am practicing that as I'm bringing my pen down, I'm increasing my pressure. As I am bringing my pen up, I'm decreasing my pressure in quick little letters rather than the continuous cursive that also takes another added element to brush lettering. So I recommend practicing your print letters as well as your doodles, because those are always fun and look really pretty on the page. I want to say thank you again for watching this video. I hope that it was informational and helpful. If you have any of your own tips you'd like to leave, please consider leaving them in the comments. If you want to see other things, also go ahead and leave that in the comments. If you did like this video, please consider liking it and also potentially subscribing, but you don't have to. Again, you can find me also at Instagram at Left-Handed Stationery, and at my new TikTok channel at Left-Handed Stationery. I have just started that though, so there's not much going on. Take care for now. Bye!